yesterday, for those of you who didn't catch it in the midst of all the silliness, I gave a reply to most of the arguments against the wall that I have heard recently. I left this out of that video because I wanted to make it a video into and of itself. It follows the same thing. People nowadays are saying just unbelievably stupid shit, and other people are listening to this unbelievably stupid shit and going, yeah! And I don't get it. Again, I'm going to say, these are not huge, cumbersome logic streams to carry. These are tiny little logic purses, right? Barbie purses, like those black clips that have the, you push the little wire things and the clip opens up. If you fold those wire things out, it's Barbie purse. This is what you can carry this logic stream in, right? Black clip that is open on both ends, right? It isn't cumbersome to think that if somebody says, the president should really watch if he's declaring a state of emergency over this, because you never know what the next Democratic president is going to call a state of emergency over. It really, I guess when it comes down to it, 1 year is 7 whole years in dog years. And I'm beginning to think that people have dog year-like brains. And that 6, 7 years ago was really so long ago that people are forgetting when all of the fucking Republicans were saying, hey, you better watch all this fucking shit you're doing with executive order here, Barry. Someday, there might be a Republican president in office, and who knows what he's going to do with what you're setting precedent for. Funny enough, the next guy that came in office used executive power a whole lot to just undo most of the executive power shit that Obama did. Funny that, but now we're in a situation where we've gotten almost kind of relatively back to homeostasis as far as the executive order war, right? That meme is pretty much done with. We're not signing executive orders 3 or 4 a day anymore, right? That's all done. He knocked all that horse shit out right the fuck out of the way because it was nothing to do to him, right? Changing these policies was nothing to him because they were bad on the face of them, and fuck them. So now we've gotten into where it's been a while since that shit's been kind of necessary. And now we're at a point where it's getting kind of necessary. I made the comparison yesterday of if something sets itself on fire in some manner, not just spontaneous combustion, but you're doing something, right? You're cooking. And there's a grease fire. Is that an emergency? No. It's a grease fire on the stove. You throw water on it, it goes right out. That's not an emergency, right? So we threw a full glass of Obama on the tiny grease fire at the border, right? Now, well, shit, the fucking kitchen's on fire. I forgot. You don't throw water on a grease fire. It spreads the shit around. Now the whole kitchen's on fire. But is it an emergency? At this point, if you have the proper things at your disposal, if you have the proper shit for a standard citizen to fight fires within their own home, you could probably do it. If you've got a good fire extinguisher, most likely you could put out your entire kitchen before it gets into the emergency stage, right? Emergency being, now I need to call people like the fire department and my insurance company. It's hit the emergency point. This is an emergency. Right? It can be argued that, yeah, sure, the kitchen being on fire because you've just thrown water on a grease fire, that's now hit the emergency level. But the house is still not burning down. Here's the difference. Donald Trump, I, and many other people think that the fucking kitchen's on fire. We've hit that point. Might as well call the fucking fire department now because, yeah, I have a fire extinguisher, but I'm not a firefighter. So, yeah, I'm not going to wait to call the fire department. I'm going to be screaming at my phone on, on speaker as I'm going, psh, psh, you fucking, this is my place, psh, psh, and I'm, right? Because to me, it's a fucking emergency. But to the Democrats, apparently it is not an emergency. So they want to wait until the House is fully engulfed before we declare it's an emergency. Donald Trump says the kitchen's on fire. We need a fucking wall. We need to wall off the kitchen and just let that whole wing of the building burn. Because it's been burning for a very long time, and we don't want that fire of drug and murder to come into the rest of the house. House being the continent we all live on, North America. Right? Somebody, forgive me, because I know she's going to watch it, I know she's going to see this, and I know she's going to hear this harsh rebuke. Somebody decided to be so silly as to say to me these words strung together in a sentence. I think so as to make an argument. But, again, little Barbie purse. Somebody said, obviously, the wall isn't to keep out the people you don't want in. It's to keep out brown people because nobody's screaming for a border wall on the northern border. First of all, playing the race card here is just going to get it thrown back in your face. The reason why all of the brown people are needing to be kept out is because all of the brown people are living in shit places because other brown people are shitting on them. Maduro happens to be a brown individual, and his diet has forced his population to lose an average of 45 pounds. Consider that. So yeah, no shit. People are running up north because all those evil brown fuckers are fucking with all of those nice brown people. And they don't like it. They don't like the brown people who are making their lives miserable. So they're running up north. Now, we have a problem with that. Because we don't want people who have nothing other than misery and pain to be chased north by people who are giving them misery and pain, and trafficked by other people who not only traffic in people, but misery and pain. We don't want a flood of misery and pain to come up to our country. So yeah, we want to build a wall, because Hannibal's at the gates, and he's riding elephants. Alright? Canada is where people from here are going. Because they believe that Donald Trump is providing them with nothing but misery and pain. Because everything Donald Trump says pains them deeply. Because everything Donald Trump says has to be twisted into racism somehow, right? So they flee north. They're the poor brown people. That's the scenario. But they're the poor white people that are leaving. Well, they're the rich white people that are leaving north. Right? Nobody up north is coming south. Because they're all lulled by Justin Trudeau and the fact that they don't really do anything but get taken care of by a whole lot of other fucking nations. So, nobody's coming down here. They think everything's fantastic up there. They're just getting arrested for what they say. They don't think that's an emergency, right? To them, the kitchen's on fire. To me, their house is burning. I'm not fleeing north for any fucking reason. And they're not coming down here because they're all stupid and they don't realize what they've lost already. But believe me, when it fully sets in, when Justin Trudeau and all of the people like him finally finish fucking Canada in the ass so hard that it's bloody and can't move anymore properly, believe me, we're going to start wanting a fucking wall there too. Because they're all going to be rushing down here, bringing pain, misery, and the bonus of stupidity. Just wait. You think it's a race thing? Wait until every other white country decides we need to leave our country because we can't say things anymore without possibly being arrested. Like in the UK. Like in Scotland. Just wait until we start getting waves of those caravans on planes coming over from other places because we still have freedom. And that's now turning rare. God damn it. I changed the battery. Alright, well that just fucked my whole flow. Having to change the battery. So I think I fairly well smacked down that argument. Shame on you for being so silly to not think beyond, ooh, I think this is really good. When you think of something, here's the difference between me and a whole lot of other people I'm beginning to find. When I think of something really good, the first thing I do isn't puke it out into the ether. I think to myself, what are they going to say in response to this? And then I judge, based on that, whether or not it's worth puking out into the ether. You could have caught that one. We don't have a massive migration influx coming from north. That's not a long logical leap to think maybe not a brown people issue. But nice try. Thanks for playing. Save your own little internalized racism for your own little fucking thing. Anyways. So we said that a long time. Us Republicans, we said a long time ago, you best watch out what Obama's doing in there. And we found out what happens is, you get Donald Trump. And we found out, really in that first year, the Trump's metal, what he was made of. Those of us who cared to actually pay attention, we found out what he was made of. He didn't do anything ridiculous. He didn't do anything people were against. He did a lot of shit that people were for. And a lot of shit he just did just to fuck up Obama's little legacy that he tried to build. Which I was fine with because a lot of Obama's legacy was horseshit. So I was fine with everything he was doing. I really honestly don't remember anything that I really strongly disagreed with. I didn't like the no tolerance thing at the border. I didn't like it. But I understood the logic behind it. I got the political play. And it played out perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, as far as I'm concerned, it played out perfectly for him. Here we are. Right? So, he made it such an issue and said, well, then I'm going to fucking deal with it. And now everybody's trying to stop him from dealing with it in every way they possibly can. He's exposed the Democratic Party fully for what they are and what they believe and what they're doing. I don't think that can be argued. It's objective fucking fact at this point. Right? That bill alone, the whole situation around it, the shutdown, all of it, this new horse shit, all of it, it exposes them for what... Look at people's actions, not what they say. It's so simple. But, so here we are with that. And now Nancy Pelosi's saying, you're setting quite a precedent there, Mr. President. You better watch out what you do, because who knows what the next Democratic president might do. And that right there, I mean, even coming from Nancy Pelosi, you know, I guess it's true. It is possible for a 1,000-year-old vampire like Nancy Pelosi to actually make your blood run cold with a statement. If that didn't happen for you, please allow me to fuck up your week. Right? Or turn this video off now because you don't want to hear the rest. Believe me. What is it right now that the Democrats are pushing? Well, let's see. Late-term abortion. Well, that just got executive ordered into New York. Right? So, okay, a Democratic president could executive order in late-term abortion. Well, that's terrifying. What else have the Democrats wanted to do lately? Oh, they want to save the environment. Well, they could just say, well, it's a state of emergency, man. This is a state of emergency. The environment, in the next 150 years, the water level is going to rise like 6 inches, man. You understand what that means? That means a whole lot of homes are going to very, very, very slowly have water creep up to them. And I'm sure when that becomes a problem, we'll figure something the fuck out. Probably build some nice walls. Right? But hey, fuck it. We think it's an emergency, so you're not allowed to have your car anymore. Is that what you're threatening, Nancy? Because that's terrifying. The collapse of the United States of America's economy. That's terrifying to me. It's terrifying to me. And you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who says that it's awesome that Amazon doesn't want to fucking go to New York and set up a headquarters. Why? Because New York will save $3 billion. New York wasn't bribing them to come to New York. They weren't paying them $3 billion. They were giving them a $3 billion tax credit. So if they make $10 billion, then New York doesn't force them to pay on 30% of it. Okay? So then only $7 billion is taxable. Right? But that's provided the money's made in the first fucking place. If Amazon doesn't come to New York, then no tax revenue's generated, so you give them a 30% break on nothing, which is fucking nothing, which means you've made nothing. So not only have you pissed away the $3 million that wouldn't be taxable, but you've also pissed away the $7 billion that was taxable. You nerds! So what if she becomes president, or somebody like her, and she wants to executive order or state of emergency we have to shut down capitalism? It's an emergency. Capitalism is destroying us. Is that what you're threatening, Nancy? Because I would think very fucking hard before I make threats like, look, when Obama did it, all we wanted to do was control your health care. And you didn't even let us have that. We had to fuck you over and give it to you anyways. And even then, you pissed and moaned so much, we had to fuck around with it so much that I had to come out and tell you, well, you're not going to know what's in it until it passes. Which I guess was her philosophy with this fucking bill to fund the government. Well, you'll know what's in it when it passes, bitch. Here you are. You've got an hour to read it. And then we're going to start meeting tomorrow early in the morning. So Nancy Pelosi publicly threatened that it's entirely possible that a future Democratic president might just enforce one of the things currently going on right now with the Democratic Party. Let's not forget Beto O'Rourke, who wants to just tear the whole wall down and be done with the whole fucking thing. Is there anybody in the audience right now wondering why I believe this deserved its own video? Is there anybody in the audience who's even in any way considering voting for a Democratic president ever again. I mean, do I need to say anything else?